A very good afternoon and welcome to the sunny side. This is your number one talk news and sports radio station here in Port Harcourt. It's a public holiday and we wish our Muslim faithfuls a happy holiday as they celebrate Eid al-Malu, I learned today. We commemorate with you as you mark this wonderful event in history. Well, this is a sunny side, and we get to kickstart our conversation today with open government system in Nigeria. Many people would argue, as a matter of fact, that Nigeria has, not kept up to its own part of the deal in that regard. We'll have that conversation shortly. I'll be joined by guests who would help us understand and analyze this system here in Nigeria. At 1 o'clock, the news update, and right after, we're going to have further conversations that take us to 1:30 for his story. Today is Tuesday, so we get to do that at 1:30. At 2 p.m., I'll be joined by architect Ebi Bosimo on Architect's World. I'm Gabriella, welcoming you to the show.
Different ideologies
and different perspectives.
Share your views on the sunny side.
92.3 Nigeria Info.
Let's talk.
Let's talk.
Different ideologies,
different perspectives.
Share your views on the sunny side.
92.3 Nigeria Info.
Let's talk.
Let's talk.
So we all know and are aware that Nigeria has been faced with numerous challenges in economy, security, agriculture, health, education, you name it. Every single sector has been hit by one kind of challenge or the other, especially with effectively utilizing its resources to support, economic growth, to support sustainable security, state of security across the nation, to also support stability, employment. The list is endless, really. And many people also argue that one of the major driving forces for the development blockade is lack of openness, lack of transparency, lack of accountability in governance. So therefore, it's important that if the government and citizens embrace open government principles in a tailored engagement, that these blockades will be dealt with and a reform will take place. That would eventually lead ultimately to effective policy, effective budgets, and effective implementation. So sometime in September 2011, the Open Government Partnership was launched to provide an international platform for domestic reformers to make their governments more open, more accountable, and responsive to citizens. Now, this partnership is governed by 4 key principles: transparency, accountability, citizen participation, technology, and innovation. And in 2016, the Nigerian government came on board this partnership, committing to 3 top priorities of security, economy, and fighting corruption. Now, the big question really is, how well have we done in this cause? I've got me in the studio to discuss this and more. Pius Dukor, he is founder of the Pius Dukor Foundation and also a political analyst. Good afternoon to you. Thank you for joining me on the show.
Nice to have me here this afternoon. It's very beautiful day, and I think it's right to be here now. Thank you once again.
Let's start the conversation with where we are right now. Where are we in terms of this open government partnership?
Yeah, but let me thank you very greatly for the preamble you've laid, all the panoplia of the explanations you've given. Because, and before you talk about how far we have gone, I think we should think a little bit about how do the people know about this. Yes, because a lot of Nigerians didn't know about the open government initiative, and when people hear us talk, they say, which one is this one again? Because Nigeria have actually signed into a lot of international treaties, international agreements, and the issue of fulfilling it in country is the difficult task. So, and then you behove on Nigerians not to take time to actually explain to citizens. There are pockets of agencies that has their consign that's supposed to dish out to citizens, explain to them, and then other states supposed to domesticate it in their states. Can we actually be proud to say out of the 35 states in the country, states have domesticated this initiative? No. So what we are doing now is a little bit of sensitizing the people and campaigning for that, so that they could also know that this type of initiative is very, very important for why that they should be part. And the question is, why should citizens be part of government? Because we also true that democracy have been there for quite a long time, and they have been part of it. But no, this is more greater parts to now share, whereby they ought to use some instrument that the FY Act, so supposed to be used, and then it is not going to be far again to stay far and canvass for maybe budget documents. They are supposed to. This instrument said the citizenry must be part of governance. And that means that you cannot remove them from that. So the system is that since we have signed up to this document now, what do we do? Do we have an open budget system? Especially from the beginning of the budget to the end of the budget. Not only when we want to monitor budget and then we begin to run around. From the budget in section, what we mean by the budget cycle, the participation, the call of circulars, and even now they're trying to estray where communities get involvement. And then let me also tell you, how do communities participate in the budget? Do you just, as a government, begin to sit somewhere and allocate resources or project to them? No. It's supposed not to be that. Yes, they are supposed to be what we call the needs assessment program. The needs assessment gives the government the ability and the capability to distinguish what a particular community needs and not just throw projects on them. Luckily enough, let me borrow a leaf for what Governor Wike just said last week, 2 weeks, when the NDDC opened the police hostel there close to the airport. And the governor just mentioned that, look, we need to prioritize our project. We need to do needs assessments. And he was telling NDDC such. And then they are both governments and government agencies. So what that means is that as a government, you take it into cognizance that before you do any project, you consult the communities and then know what they need before you throw around. Because why? You can begin to think that some of those projects can be in waste. You can do repetitions. You can do even projects at, let me tell you one little instance. There was a community that they set up a hospital. And over the years, nobody attended the hospital. And the people come to do research. Why is it that people did not patronize this hospital? They find out that where they located the hospital was an evil forest donated by the community. And the people have the phobia that why am I going to an evil forest? You know why? They did not do proper consultation before they, fix the project.
No, let me take you up on that one,
yes,
right?
Yes,
that is a challenge, a reality.
Yes.
When you have diverse conversations, you would find that the government lacks engagement with the people on what priorities lie before them. Now, why do you think that is such a difficult thing for the government to understand at this time? And how can we begin to allow for the government, or perhaps help the government see that, look, there are priorities with every single, peculiar location and state?
Good. Some communities have started making some changes, making sure that when government comes for campaign, in campaign by political parties, they don't allow responses from the community. They just come to stage the campaign and said, okay, this is party, this, that, we're going to do this, do this. And when they talk, they dance around the stage, they make a whole of noise, flag, coloration, and they run away. At the end of the day, nobody can intercept it. But communities have developed the sense that, look, if we now bring what they're supposed to do for such a community, and they sign a pact,
what they are doing now. Communities are beginning to do a research and say, look, we don't just allow these politicians to come and talk to us and run away. At the end of the day, we won't see anything. So they list what they need and they commit the politicians to sign to that, because that one become the bond. It is not in many communities anyway. Some communities just started that. So what we are telling you now is something that communities can take up from there. And when they now come, you say, look, you told us that you're going to do this, and you sign. So by the time they refuse to do that, you flash to the public, to the press, that look, this is what this political party said they will do when they come. That is number one. Number two, in respect of your question, governments don't want people to think that you're thinking for them. They refuse to believe that they are part of the people who now will select you to now work on behalf of everybody. So by the time you begin to tell government, this is what we think that you can do, they say, why are you telling me? I already know. So because of this too much knowing, now it's creating lapses. So what that means is that if you do a needs assessment, the community will have let them know that, look, this area is not good for that hospital. And that is why if you see some communities, there are abandoned government projects, maybe secondary school, maybe primary school, the proximity is too close. But if they have gone into, they will now see that maybe that community that they are doing primary school, what they needed is a secondary school. And you don't just fix any secondary school. What type of secondary school are you fixing? Is it a mixed school? Is it only for boys? Is it only for girls? There are communities now that apart from the Catholic school, they don't have any other school. They don't have any other boys' school. Maybe church school, Catholic school, or whatever. And the community actually is in their need of that. So if the Ministry of Education want to put in cognizance what's supposed to be done, you don't just throw school because you want to build schools like that. So that is why the open government partnership is critical to the development and the overall of the people. And then I, as a citizen, I can now contribute that, look, whosoever, Your Excellency, the President, the Governor, the local government chairman, please, Community A, where I come from, need water. That is our first priority. And for instance, if you want me to do a research quickly, especially in the area of water resources in Ogoniland, for instance, you will take it very keenly to note that because of the benzene that have corrupted their water for quite a long time now, 900 times over World Health Organization standard, then nobody will tell you as an agency, as a government, that what the people needed, their priority is water. So by the time you conduct such an interview, you will have overwhelmingly reports that water is the first thing. And then, let me tell you, which type of water are you going to give, for example, to the Ogoni people? Not the normal borehole water, because the depth of the normal borehole water is shallow. And because the water has been corrupted with benzene, you are going to dig deep so many miles away and trash and squeeze the benzene, the chemical, the zinc from the water up into the tank, and then they will drink. That is an example. But in Community C, they may not need water as a priority. Maybe their water table is okay, it's not contaminated, and what they need maybe is the market. So you just consult them too. You don't just go and throw water into the next community because you have given water to Ogoni people. No. You consult what type of project they may need. And then you'll find out that the people will need something else. That's why when you're doing this assessment, you do in three categories. First, you do the needs assessment with the youth of the community. You do the second category with the women of the community. And you do the third one with the leadership of the community. When you do these three stages of the needs assessment, you're going to get results. The diverse results you merge together and you have 1, 2, 3. You have been able to annex 3 projects from 3 groups. So the project A, or number 1 project in the leadership of the people, can go. Then the project A on women angle can be like the second project, and then the project of the youth can be the third project. That is that on this assessment. But we are also saying that because of cost of governance, there must be the need that government and the communities should work together. I mean, when I mean community, I mean civil society communities. Because government over the years have been so scared to open their book. Why? If you are running a transparent government, I don't think that you close any books. Like, for example, now, in this your radio station, you once in a while have auditors, true or false. And then auditors will come, and you don't need to be afraid. You don't need to shake yourself. They get access to the file and whatever. Such is government. If government have an open, transparent books, I think it will be very fine. Another thing that happens sometimes in government, why we actually need this open space, is that they give contracts to a lot of people who are closer to them, and because they cannot ask them if the people default, yes, they cannot ask them. They are too close that out of friendship, out of years of knowing, and the persons cannot deliver. They are now ashamed to now ask such a person
because of the familiarity.
Yeah, the closeness, the proximity, how they have been, and the person can. And you might be surprised that some years ago, the contractor of the government was the person supporting the governor, for example, in maybe a state A or state B. The governor of that time might be an ordinary citizen, was not buoyant enough, was not a millionaire or whatever, and a quiet citizen was sponsoring you, and you were able to now skate through and become a governor. So when you now give contract to such a person who aided you, you are now incapacitated to ask him to perform.
But we don't see such planning in other climes like the US, for instance.
It's not there like that. So that is why I'm telling you, for example, if that is why we're asking for open books.
Should we still be asking if on paper we have signed a partnership?
The reason being that, a lot of things are on lip service here. Even the budget you're talking about, I have monitored federal government budgets in this state, something that pertains to Rivers State, a whole budget that comes to do with Nigeria. And I now monitor the one that has to do with my state, Rivers State. And you will get brain drain. In fact, you get a lot of headache. You know why? Because you cannot trace projects. They will just sit down in their office and say electrification project at Emoha. And Emoha has to do with the local governments. A local government. They can say school provision of chairs in school at Onelga. Onelga has to do with the local government. A whole local government with over how many communities? They can say, okay, renovation of primary school in Gokana. Gokana has 17 villages, communities. So they deliberately don't want to tell you the location of the contract so that you will not come and monitor whether they do it or not. It's a deliberate ploy. And sometimes they will not fix the name of the contractor. And let me shock you, sometimes even in this state, if government of Rivers State, open books for us to tell us the contractors that have default, you will not greet most of those big men on the street again.
So the question right now is, how can we, because again, like what you mentioned earlier, with some communities that have begun to ensure that there is something written on paper, so when you default in the future, they can hold you accountable to that.
Yeah.
How then can we ensure and enforce as citizens? Because again, there is the place for citizen participation.
Yeah.
How can we ensure that we have the kind of transparency and accountability that we need in government?
Okay, very quick. Just like you're doing now, I want to give kudos to your radio station. This is one of their corporate social responsibility that they are doing, is part of sensitization and also letting the people and government to know what we're supposed to do. That does not preclude that government is not aware. Government is aware. They are aware of those instruments. They know what it's all about. But let me also say that there will be continuous talking. You also remember quickly, Gabriella, that Nigerians were clamoring on what we call electronic voting, right? Mm-hmm. And we did not keep quiet. And people started to shout, make positive noise, because there are types of noise. There will be positive noise, negative noise, and noise that will not make any sense. So when people begin to make noise, the National Assembly reverses itself, and now there is what we call electronic voting system that is going to be transmitted. So that is why Nigerians must sit up and making sure that they are part of the budget. People will not sit somewhere like in the ministries, in the agencies, and do what we call circular. Madam, if you have seen budget, you see a lot of copy and paste. In fact, there is no malpractices that is more than in the budget. In fact, if there is anything called plagiarism, it is there that is found. And you're just copying the work. You can see budget that have been there since 2001. They will bring it. It appear in 2002, appear in 2003. Be appearing. However, there are few budgets that carry 3 years expansion program. There are certain one that carry that one. It's a 3 years program from maybe 2002 to 2003 or 4. That one, you know that it has that year that's carried. But there's one that's repeatedly on. And that's why we have been advocating that this budget document should be made known and made public. And the World Bank is also doing something very great now. You'll be surprised. The World Bank have been trying to tell governors, the Governors Forum in Nigeria, that if you place your budget online, they will give you some certain amount of dollars as a motivation. Kudos to that. And I think a lot of government are keen into it, even though it might not be, they don't really have love to put the budget online. So we want to see the budget online is costly of the program by World Bank, trying to say, thank you, Mr. Governor, for putting your budget online for citizens to see. Take this amount of money free of charge. That money they just give you is a dash. It's an encouragement. Fine. There is another one that if you call town hall meeting and people attended and they make suggestion on budget, the World Bank too will give you some token too.
As a motivation.
Yes, motivation. Because they know that over the years, it is through the budget that we are lacking. It's through the budget that we are not performing very creditably. Just like I tell you, and I'm going to tell you for free. I said, if government allows citizens to check in their books, you see that a lot of communities in River State have road that have been tired. They said a whole road network have been tired in community A. But because you and I cannot see the document, we will not know. And because when another government come in power and see those things, he will get shocked. And when that community will ask a project, give us road, they say, no, we have from reliable sources, record we have available, that one of your son tired so many roads in your community. So why are you asking of it again? And that is why we are asking for this open government partnership, because if you allow us to know that document, you hold that document, we'll be able to know. And that big man who claimed that he is rich because of the money he acquired from the public, look, when they give you a contract to do, to be very frank, there's interest. Government is not a wicked government. Government know that you have interest. When they ask you to do a contract, that is where you make interest. So those other ones, you need to perform it creditably. You need to making sure that you spend the money according to letter. And that is why sometimes, let me give kudos to the governor of River State. I'm not speaking for him. I'm not his spokesperson. But that is why he personally supervised most of the contract. We have found out that in the past years, we lost so many contracts to governors not supervising their project physically. And they play to it until 4 years elapse, and the person say, thanks be to God. You go and make Thanksgiving service. Why? Because they have defrauded the government, you know, and people are not aware. Because since people were not aware when they signed the contract, you know, they signed this contract sometime in some of the agencies between the person, the contractor, and the person giving the contract, those two of them. So it's not within public domain. This thing will come to know when government get angry with you, and some governors who are very bold enough to challenge the people and say, look, I gave you a contract, you have not done it. Can you go and do it or return the money? But in some other parts or some other time, they will just keep quiet and be grudgingly in their mind and say, oh, this man is very wicked. Look at how he has done to what he has done to his people. If I tell you the number of contracts that we have so wasted, not only in River State, in Imo, in Anambra, in Borno, all over. And luckily enough, for one of the pillars of what you said, that security is part of it, of this open government partnership. That is why we begin to also query how much have actually gone into security when it comes to budgets. I mean national security, when it comes to budget. How much has gone into their hardwares? I'm hearing now in the 61 year anniversary of President Muhammadu Buhari, he said they are going to look inwards to produce our military hardware and even the COVID vaccine, you know, because even as I learned, there's what we call COVID injustice going around African countries, whereby a lot of donors are not bringing enough vaccine to take care of that, or everybody. So, but that is on another part. So what am I saying? There must be the fact that if you open up some of the documents, you will see. That is why sometimes the EFCC begin to chase one or two persons around. And when they chase people and get this money back, because we are not practicing through open government partnership, we don't know the type of money they have recovered and the quantum of money they have recovered. You always hear, we have recovered this money, we have recovered. And most time, the money now is being reluted because of the fact that we don't have the fact of the money. The transparency and the accountability of that money is not there.
All right.
So that is why even the East-West Road is in the perpetual disconnection, perpetual garbage, that death trap. You know why? So many contracts have been awarded over the years since President Olusegun Obasanjo's administration till now. And we don't know who is at fault, whether the contractor is at fault or the government is at fault. Because if there's open government partnership, we're able to know that you gave contractor B maybe 10 billion, and that 10 billion is not enough. The citizens will know that it's not enough. Everything they will know.
All right.
If it's for compensation, they will say this is for compensation before you're doing the road and the artifact and whatever. And the quality of the roads you're going to do too.
All right. So we're going to have to squeeze in calls right now. I would like for you to join the conversation. We're talking open government partnership in Nigeria and bringing it down to the state level here in River State. What are your thoughts really? How can we better improve this open government partnership to allow for the implementation in every regard, from projects to, even down to community work, etc. The numbers to call are 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003. You can also call 0817-923-0007 or 0817-923-0009. The WhatsApp number is 0809-030-6416. Good afternoon, you're welcome.
Good afternoon. My name is Jim Pauline. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the issue of advertising the budget. I know River State government will not advertise budget. If they say the bank, if they say they should advertise budget, I've never seen project or budget River State government advertise. They say go is at the website. You find from now to tomorrow. You don't see it. And the contract they award is substandard contract. You see a road, a dry road, carries small gutter. The gutter is like passage. Water don't pass. And we don't know how much they award that road. They'll just say they've done road. So this is what we are suffering.
All right. Thank you very much for that. We're also on Facebook. You can join the conversation by watching us live at Nigeria Info 92.3ph. That's a Facebook page at Nigeria Info 92.3ph, as well as on YouTube at Nigeria Info PH. We've got about 5 minutes left for this. On Facebook, Ben Tempo says the government is not working for the people. All right. Ben, thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Yeah, is that 92.3?
Yes, it is. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is George.
Go ahead, George. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know why it is that some people like to criticize the government in everything, whatever it does, whether good or bad, people criticize. I don't know if it's fair for a governor. Why is he a governor? Whatever project he wants to do in the state, that everybody, you must publicize it to everybody in the state. Is that right? Why is he a governor? I don't know.
All right.
Thank you very much. That's all I want to say.
Okay, thank you very much. Do you think that as governor, you should make public every single thing that you do? I think that's what he's asking.
Very, very importantly, this open government partnership is not residual. What I mean is that it's not permanent here in River State. It's all over Nigeria. So we are making cognizance to the 35 states, including Abuja and including the federal government of the Republic of Nigeria. So, but when we are domiciling here, we're also talking about the local governments here in the 23 local government. What we are saying is this: the budgets that you're talking about that concern the people, do you want to hide it? The question supposed to for the man is that, for example, you want to pay school fees of your children in, for example, one of the universities. I don't want to mention any of them. And the person said, pay me my school fees, my dad. And you say, how much? You say, no, I don't want to tell you how much the school fees is. Just pay me the money, let me go. And then you will have a clash with your dad or your mom, who is taking care of your school fees. He will say, no, tell me the amount I'm going to pay. You say, no, just give me any money. Such is budget. You cannot say that I want to, for example, do street lights and say people should not know about the amount you do for the street light. You cannot say, okay, somebody, you give contract to Mr. A to do road in your community and you hide the person. At the end of the day, the person will not do the road and you begin to suffer in silence. But if you let the people know, it is the people now that will shout on behalf of government. That is the meaning of this open government partnership. They will use what we call naming and shaming. You, the governor, you, the commissioner, you, the local government chairman, you will not have anything to do with the person again, because you have done your part to give the person the contract. It is the people now, the citizen, that will be shouting whatever method they can use until the person will do the work. That's what we are saying. We are not saying that it is the fact that you should not open your. In fact, part of the work of the open government partnership is that budget must be transparent, both at federal and at state and at all levels. So what we are saying is not that when you now mention a particular person, they are obliged to open the system so that we can help them. How are you going to help them? You are going to help them because if somebody fail in executing their contract, the people now shout. The community will now shout and write placard. Give me my water, oh, give me my land, oh, give me my this, give me my health center. You now say, oh, the health center that's supposed to be in community B, it is one Mr. Uche who is doing that work. Every day, community can be harassing that Mr. Uche. Be rest assured. But if nobody knows, and you said expect a health center, they stay 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, they did not see any health center. Most times they cannot challenge the government. But if they know the particular person that they gave the contract to myself, they will look for me and shame me and disgrace me. And at the end of the day, those big jeep I'm driving, they will know that is their contract. They will know that is their contract.
All right, let's take a final call and wrap the conversation up. Our time is far spent already. Good afternoon, you're welcome. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Your final caller, go ahead.
I'm Christian.
All right.
I'm Christian calling from Petago.
Go ahead, Kristen.
I think this problem is one of the problems we have in this country, not being transparent in government. Government is supposed to be everybody's business. It's not for one person or a group of people. In everything you do, you are supposed to be transparent. Let people see what you are doing. That is why you are there. You are not supposed to make it a personal property. It is not for you. So if really they are there for this country, for the betterment of the country or for the state, you are supposed to be transparent in the things you are doing so that everybody will see what you are doing. That is why we have a big problem in this country. Until we realize it, that is when this country will be okay. That's my justice.
All right, thank you very much. Maybe we can squeeze in one more call. Maybe. Good afternoon.
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Gabriella.
Make it quick. Make it quick. We're out of time.
George from my own community.
Go ahead.
Yes, I'm open a project citizen participation. And I want to ask, first of all, I greet your guest in your studio.
Yeah, madam.
Yes. If it is real that Governor Anyanwu Sowike have done well to the citizens, why can't you open the budget, make it public, or public to access it?
All right, thank you very much. Well, we have to wrap up now. Our time is up. Final words real quick in a minute. Final word is this. Let citizens continue to contribute. It does not mean that you're not earning salary. It does not mean that you're not in the ministry. And you who are in the ministry and you say they are paying you per month, one day you will retire. And when they want to come and ask document from you, you say you're not giving. They give you an oath not to give document. They give you an oath not to talk. When you retire, you'll be old enough and you will suffer that same thing. So this is for everybody. It is for both federal government, local government, and state government. It is not against any particular person. And you are in a community, and community has money, community money. You cannot also eat community money like that. You must be transparent. Let the community know through Town Square that want to use their money to do road, water, education, health center, and so and so. By that one, everybody cannot get the contract anyway. Those who get the contract must execute the contract according to the terms and the agreement. Mr. Pius Dukor, thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thanks. Nice having me once again.
All right, 1 o'clock happens in 3 minutes. The news update, and right after further conversations right here on the sunny side. Don't go away.